For 30 days straight, every time I asked my wife for a real conversation, for intimacy, for connection, she said the same word. Tomorrow. At first, it sounded harmless, even hopeful. A promise of not now, but soon. But soon turned into never. We'd been married for 7 years. In the beginning, there were no tomorrows, only right nows. We'd talk for hours, fall asleep tangled up, and wake up smiling like we'd cracked some secret code to happiness. But now, every word between us felt transactional, cold, clipped, routine. The first time she said, tomorrow, I thought she was just tired. The 5th time, I thought she was avoiding a fight. By the 10th, I realized she was avoiding me. Her name's Emily, and I loved her more than I ever thought I could love anyone. But love without touch, without time, without truth, it starts to rot. Every night, I'd sit at the edge of the bed, watching her scroll through her phone, headphones in, eyes fixed on something I couldn't see. I'd ask, softly, "Can we talk?" And she'd smile without looking up. "Tomorrow, Ryan. I'm just exhausted." I'd nod, smile back, pretend that I believed it. But the next day came, and the next, and nothing changed. Her side of the bed stayed cold. Her laughter disappeared from the house. And when I'd reach out, she'd flinch. Not enough to seem cruel, just enough to break me. By the 20th tomorrow, I started keeping count. I'd mark it on my phone calendar like a prisoner scratching lines on a cell wall. Day 23, tomorrow. Day 24, tomorrow. Day 25, tomorrow. There's something strange about emotional starvation. You don't realize how badly you're dying inside until one day, even silence feels louder than screaming. I tried everything, cooking her favorite meals, planning a weekend getaway, even writing her a letter. She found it on the kitchen counter one morning and didn't say a word. That night, she came home late, kissed me on the forehead like a mother putting a child to bed, and whispered, "Tomorrow." That was day 28. Something inside me cracked that night. Not with anger. No shouting, no slammed doors. Just the quiet certainty that this marriage was over. The next morning, I watched her getting ready for work. She hummed a tune under her breath, hair tied back neatly, perfume filling the room. She looked happy, happier than I'd seen her in months. I wanted to ask, who makes you smile like that now? But I didn't, because deep down I already knew the answer. Day 30 arrived, and so did my silence. I didn't ask her anything that night. No questions, no pleading. Just a long stare at the woman who once swore she'd never make me feel alone. When she said tomorrow, for what she didn't know would be the last time, I nodded and smiled. Sure, tomorrow. But the next day, day 31, I didn't wait for her to come home. I drove to the courthouse and filed for divorce. I didn't even feel heartbreak, just an odd, clean kind of peace. That evening, when she saw the papers on the kitchen table, her face drained of color. She stood frozen, lips parting like she was trying to catch air. Finally, she spoke. "Ryan, think again." Her words, "think again," didn't come out angry. They came out shaken. Emily wasn't crying. She wasn't even yelling. She just looked at me like I'd set something precious on fire. I crossed my arms. 30 days, Emily. 30 promises you never kept. Her eyes flickered, and for a moment, I saw guilt or maybe fear. Then she said quietly, "It wasn't what you think." I laughed. I didn't mean to, but it slipped out. "Then tell me what it was. Tell me why every time I reached for you, you said tomorrow. Why every time I begged you to talk, you shut me out." She walked past me and sat on the couch, her fingers trembling as she picked up the divorce papers. The sound of the paper crumpling felt like thunder in that silent room. "Ryan," she said slowly, "I wasn't pushing you away. I was buying time." Buying time for what? Her eyes met mine. Wet, raw, and exhausted. For us. For you. I didn't understand. Not yet. She took a deep breath. 31 days ago, I found out I have a tumor. Benign, they said at first. But then the tests changed. I didn't want to tell you until I knew everything. I didn't want to scare you for nothing. My throat went dry. You were sick. I was terrified. she whispered. I thought if I said it out loud, it would become real. Every day I told myself, tomorrow I'll tell him. But tomorrow never felt like the right time. I wasn't rejecting you, Ryan. I was trying to figure out how to not destroy you. The world stopped spinning. All the anger I had built, the resentment that had lived in my chest like acid, it burned out in one instant. I sat down across from her, my mind blank. Why didn't you trust me enough to tell me? She smiled sadly. Because you always fix things. And I didn't want to be your next project. I wanted to stay your wife, not your patient. Silence swallowed the room again. The divorce papers sat between us like a loaded gun no one wanted to touch. I didn't want a divorce, I finally said. I wanted you to look at me again. I never stopped looking, she replied softly. You just stopped seeing me. Her words cut deeper than any accusation ever could. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The clock ticked. The wind brushed the window. Somewhere outside, a dog barked. It was one of those ordinary sounds that remind you how unremarkable heartbreak can feel. Then she said something I didn't expect. I start treatment next week. It's not fatal, but it's going to be rough. I understand if you don't want to stay. That's when I realized. She'd already accepted a life without me. She'd been preparing for that possibility while I was counting days and building resentment. I reached across the table and took her hand. It was cold. I'm not running, Em, I said quietly. But I'm not pretending either. We can't go back to who we were. Something broke. She nodded slowly. Maybe we build something new then. I looked at the divorce papers. Creased, smudged with her tears. I didn't tear them up. I just folded them neatly and slid them into a drawer. That night, for the first time in over a month, she lay beside me. We didn't talk. We didn't touch. We just breathed, the same air, the same space, two people who had finally stopped lying to themselves. And when she whispered, barely audible, maybe tomorrow will be better, I didn't roll my eyes. I didn't mark it on a calendar. I just whispered back, maybe it will.